Welcome back to the program. Some of our viewers last Friday must have missed that conversation on the benefits of the Naira-Yuan swap deal, that handshake that you saw there between Nigeria's central bank governor, Godwin Emefiele, and the head of the Pt.1, that's the Chinese central bank, a few weeks ago about that $2.5 billion transactions over a 3-year period and what it really means for Nigeria's trade or bilateral trade relations with one of the world's largest economy, number 2 to be precise. Let's bring you a little bit of that on a playback for you to listen to my conversation with Isaac Okorafor here in our studios on Friday. He's the acting director of communications at the central bank, and of course the man who is the head of business and commercial law at the central bank, Kofo Lada. Two of them had a very interesting conversation here on the show, explaining the parameters and how this will work moving forward. Let's take a listen back at that. Yeah. This $2.5 billion, how many years will it take? Is it cash on the table now, renminbi in the vault on the ground where the central bank, you guys keep money? Explain this to us.
Well, the way it works is that, especially the terms of the agreement, you can only draw the money from that pool when you need it. That is what it is. It's not just that they give us and the money has been provided. You can draw from it from time to time to that maximum. And of course, we sort of, it's not compulsory that we must exhaust it.
The $2.5 billion.
Yeah, it's not compulsory that we'll be pulling from it. That's precisely. It's not that we have it somewhere capped. The most important thing to us is that it is going to reduce the pressure on our foreign exchange market. It is going to stabilize our foreign exchange market, and it's going to increase the speed of transactions. It's likely to also increase the volume of transactions, especially in the very badly needed raw materials, simple machinery, and intermediate goods that our SMEs need.
Let's get Abdusalam Alada, Kofo in Abuja, into this conversation. Now, give us your thoughts on how this will continue to work moving forward. I'm sure you've heard about a bit of what Isaac says about how this fits into the overarching FX policy of the central bank. Kofo?
Well, I lost you there, but if I understand your question very well, I was actually going to talk about the mechanics of the transaction itself. So just like Isaac has alluded, it's a swap, like we said, is the exchange of currency between those two countries. And the figure that you have is just sitting in there is a figure. The arrangement is to, from time to time, for Central Bank or People's Bank of Nigeria to request, People's Bank of China, to make requests from Nigeria, just like Nigeria can request PBOC for the yuan. So, and we should also know that any drawing made pursuant to this request can only be used for a period of 12 months, renewable. At the end of the maturity, you can renew or end that particular one and do another one. But graphically, it will appear that it's only when the $2.5 million or the 15 billion yuan has been exhausted that you now be doing the renewal, as the case may be. We know that swap is never a loan. They take your currency, you take their currency. And for Nigeria, it's expected that, yes, the importers will use so much, but remember that the purpose of this, as specified in the arrangement, is that it be used for direct trade or direct investment in either country, either in China or in Nigeria. What it means is that a Chinese company that is here in Nigeria may actually not need to go for dollar, a third currency, and lose some exchange, lose in terms of exchange, or the Nigerian importer, when his LC is being negotiated in this direct currency, would not have to lose the transactional will now incur extra costs in terms of transaction fee. Because presently, I've had confession around the industry where the form of the determination of even the conversion rate is actually opaque. It is not expected that our brothers in Alaba or in Isaleko will start going from bank to bank to determine how this is done. But now, in view of the fact that you can now get your invoice from China in renminbi, then you transact with your bank, you eliminate the cost of first converting to the US, then US to the yuan. So the same thing for the Chinese business person who's interested in taking raw materials or so semi-finished goods from Nigeria to incur the same risk. Now, what is the extra advantage that we have here? It is also a window of opportunity for Nigerian banks to actually open shop. There are about 1 or 2 Nigerian banks with representative office in China. So it is expected that they will upscale, their shareholders fund to meet the level required by the Chinese authority to be able to have full branch operations in China. And it's expected that some of these banks can serve as clearing banks for the renminbi. And before we forget as well, as these transactions begin to unfold, it is going to put Nigeria in a position where Nigeria will emerge as the renminbi trading hub for this sub-region. Presently, no special hub has emerged in Africa, and it is the intention of central bank to make Nigeria this particular hub for trading of renminbi. So
this is very interesting.
Governor Yigang stressed. Yes, Bosi?
Yes, I just wanted to ask to tie that when we talk about trade, non-oil exports and trade, and I think that is a question I want Isaac to delve into about. This beyond, if we take oil out of the basket and we say we want to promote non-oil exports, the central bank wants that. Perhaps that's part, I'm sure that's part of all the entire FX regime that we've been having over the last 2 years with the ban on 41 items. How does this help non-oil exports?
Thank you, Wilson. This is a very important question. What some of our critics have not considered is that they have not asked a question. How is it going to impact on non-oil trade exports? Now, so many Chinese manufacturers require raw materials from Nigeria. There are so many Nigerians already, including those in solid minerals, who are exporting to China today. Now, the